Welcome to week 4 of Mind Your P's and Q's NFL podcast. Welcome.
How you doing today, sir?
Doing great, doing real great. I'm actually coming to you live from Greenville, South Carolina. I don't even know what state I'm in. I've been traveling so much, I don't even know what state I'm in.
Well, this was a wild week of football and fantasy to talk about, so why don't we just jump straight into it?
Absolutely.
Let's start off with our trusted segment, Hawks Talk. Hawks Talk, where we review my favorite team in the NFL, the Seattle Seahawks, and see how they fared the week prior. And this week, not a lot of positives coming from Hawks Talk. We took the L against the Tennessee Titans, losing 33-27, and that might be incorrect, but it may not be. I can't remember the exact score.
I think you might be right.
What?
I think you might be right on that score.
Okay, we lost by 6 points. Literally played great defense the entire first half, but could not move the ball on offense, and that completely flip-flopped in the second half. We let up 3 huge plays to Mariota in that offense. And just really, are we standing for the national anthem? Are we in the locker room? How about we get ready for the fucking game? All right, I don't need a rant at this segment in the show, but the Hawks took the loss last week, and I guess we're just going to move on to this next game. And the great news for me on this updated version of Hawks Talk is that this Friday I will actually be flying to Seattle. My dad and I will be checking off a bucket list item we've had since I was a kid, and we will be going to a home Seahawks game on Sunday Night Football against. I've been waiting all day. I told you Carrie Underwood would be coming back this week.
She's coming back every week. She's always a guest on our show.
The Seahawks will be taking on the Indianapolis Thunder and Colts. We will get more into that later, but that's kind of my update on Hawks Talk. We took a loss last week. The Titans looked really, really good to me, to be honest, and we just got outplayed. Did some really uncharacteristic things on defense, letting up some explosive plays. So excited for next week and hopefully get back in the win column. So
well, I'd like to quickly take that from you and move on to Colts Corner. Now, in Colts Corner, as Patrick said, we're moving on next week to the Seattle Seahawks, playing at Seattle. Now, it's never an easy place to go play. I get that. I want to talk about next week's game first because I am extremely excited because this is Patrick's team versus Quinton's team, and it is usually not that exciting when we play because the Seahawks have been really good and the Colts have been on the struggle bus. But we just got a big W. A big W.
A huge W.
Big W last week against the Browns. I was at the game, and I got to say, I came out of that game with a very weird feeling. Happy that we won.
Was it indigestion? How many hot dogs did you eat?
It was maybe the pound of nachos that I had. I don't know. But I came out of the game with a very odd feeling that I was happy that we won. It was our first win this year. I'm happy that we won. But we really, really, really tried hard to give that game away at the end, and I completely blame Chuck Pagano. So if you're listening, I would like to tell you, pick it up in the second half because, my goodness, this whole baby, let's try not to lose at the end of the game playbook that you got going has got to stop because if it happens again, I want you gone. I want you very, very far away from Indianapolis because it is pissing me off. This whole baby playbook of run 3 times and punt because you don't want to throw the ball to lose the game is pissing all Colts fans off, I hope. And that's my Colts corner. So
yeah, I did want to jump in on Colts corner with you and just let you know. Jacoby Brissett seemed like he played a really solid game, and when I was flipping games on Sunday. Saw you guys were up big, and then saw that it got tight at the end. And I just was hoping the camera would just pan to that 600 section and zoom in on you just screaming your face off about not throwing that game away, because they were just trying to let the Browns. When they get the onside kick in the end, was there a part of your heart that felt like the Browns were going to get the onside kick and get the ball back at the end?
Absolutely. It was the fact that I think we scored like 3 points in the last 25 minutes of the game. That's probably not accurate, but it's something like that where we scored. It was 28-3 at one point. I mean, what? Like, how do you even come close to losing that game? That game was I had a Browns fan sitting next to me that kept going like, "Don't worry, like the Browns will lose. That's what they always do." And it's like, I know that they always lose, but you have to understand that I'm up here in the 600 section screaming at Chuck Pagano to throw the football. Throw the football. I don't care if you're up 29-0. Like, throw the football. Still try to win the game. I was very frustrated. That was the first game that Kaylee and I have ever been together at, or seen me watch a game together.
Girlfriend corner. I thought this was Colt's corner.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
She was, let's just say she was scared by how much yelling there was.
You're bending the bleachers in front of you. That's a normal thing.
I'm eating popcorn like a monster. Yep. Well,
shoving it into your eyes. Well, I think that's going to be a perfect way to close Cold Corner.
Absolutely.
And that's the start of our show, and a real show that's just been going strong here for the last week. And
yeah, absolutely.
We got a lot of positive feedback, and it sounds like the people really love the show. So, as a wild week of football ensued, let's review the fantasy matchups from last week.
Let's move right into it.
The first matchup, I'll start off with my matchup, which was Rolls of Fury versus Welcome to the Dog Pound Robert Harris. And Robert Harris has a very strong start in the league. He started off 2-0 and then came into my house trying to lay the hammer down on Thursday night as we record our first podcast, with Todd Gurley scoring 35 points and me just absolutely shitting the bed at seeing that and thinking, well, I've already lost the week.
Absolutely. I got to say, Todd Gurley and Aaron Rodgers putting up 35 and 29, you would think that gets you a W.
Yeah, but you just look at the first three players. Russell Wilson throwing up 41, Devontae Freeman 21, and then our favorite player in fantasy football, Kareem the fucking Dream. I think on the podcast last week we said if he broke out another 60-yard touchdown run, I was buying lottery tickets.
I do. I actually reviewed the tape, and that is 100% correct. You did say that.
And I think that means I'm getting lottery tickets this week because he had like just a mediocre game going for a while, and then in the fourth quarter he just busted that run where you could just hear Dylan's voice in the background with him sprinting like, fucking go!
Yep. And I think I need to ask this. I'd like to put up a poll, to see what people think. What week will it be when Kareem Hunt finally doesn't have a 60-yard run? I mean, is it week 7, week 8? Like, when is this madness going to end? When is this Kareem the Dream madness going to truly actually end? And I don't see an end anywhere in sight.
So I was excited about this. I've started the year off 3-0. That's a good start. At Sterling Shepard on the bench at 22. So, good start for me, and that'll bring us to our next game. And also, props to Rob. Starting off 2-1, your first ever fantasy. We'll give him a little love on the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give him a lot, and especially since longtime fantasy player, I'm 0-3. So great job, Rob. Great job out there. Fantastic.
Our next fantasy matchup was the closest matchup of the week, decided by literally a half a point.
Yep.
O'Doyle Rules, Mitch Eby versus freaking Dingle Queries and Fairies, Dylan Crowley.
Two 2-0 teams going up against each other. That was a good matchup.
And O'Doyle Rules inches him out 89.8 to 88.3. So I guess I was wrong when I said a half a point. Technically, it was 1.5 points if I knew how to do math.
It's all right. We'll work on it after the show.
It was a very tight game. I think Dylan needed Ezekiel Ezekiel Elliott to get around 18 points, and he got 16.9. So
put up a hell of an effort, especially after last week's a point that he got last week. So I think that's about as much as you're going to get out of Elliott right now.
To be honest, though, this game is a little bit under protest in my mind. Just that Golden Tate play for the Lions, that literally changes this game, and Dylan wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
That's just nuts.
I feel like he's not going to be the only one waking up on Monday morning pretty upset by the fact that Golden Tate didn't get that touchdown. I bet.
Yeah, and I got to say a couple of things about this here. I was happy to see Dylan lose.
Always.
As always.
Yeah, always.
But Mitch, you're a great guy, but I'll be honest with you, you got no business being 3-0. Mitch is 3-0 and has scored the second least points in our fantasy league.
Do you think that catches up to him, or is he that guy this year that's going to be probably 4th or 5th by the end of the year, lowest scored points, and he'll be up in the playoffs?
I mean, you got to think it's going to catch up to you just because you can't play teams that are scoring 80 and 60 every single week. They just can't. It's got to stop at some point.
Mitch, come play me. You'll beat me.
It's not an indictment on Mitch's team by any means. I think he's got good players, but how are you 3-0? You've literally scored almost the least amount of points in the league.
Yep. And your starting quarterback is Trevor Siemian, so
yeah, that's an automatic loss.
Yeah.
Take it, Commissioner Matt. I know you're listening.
Change it. Change the rules. All right. Well, let's move on.
We'll move on to DK and Quinton, the Steeler virginity versus the Great Cookie Traders. Quinton, I'd like to just be like, hey, Quinton, tell us a little bit about your matchup, but I gotta just interrupt at the very beginning. You are on a podcast right now, a weekly podcast about fantasy football, and you played an inactive player. You played alert. You played Jordan Reed, who was inactive. What are you doing?
Can I please? So, Jordan Reed the entire week was supposed to be playing. Now, he's had the whole broken toe situation where he's had that for a while. And I was wondering if he was going to play or not. And I have no excuse other than the fact that I was very busy on Sunday morning and didn't get a chance to look. That's it. And it's a horrible excuse. It's a horrible excuse. I'm going to put it out there. It's horrible. I don't feel good about myself about it. I'm pretty pissed because it was especially against DK. I screwed it up, but it is what it is. I don't think a new...
scored 0.48 points.
Yes, he did.
Left Odell Beckham Jr. on... Let me just rant for a second on this. You left Odell Beckham Jr. on the bench scoring 24 points.
He wasn't supposed to play. He wasn't supposed to play.
You had an inactive Jordan Reed on your team playing.
I will defend my Odell Beckham because Cooper Kupp played on Thursday night, so I had to choose on Thursday night.
Right.
I had to choose between Cooper Kupp or Odell Beckham, who was not on Thursday was not supposed to be playing, or at least very limited is what they were telling everyone with Odell Beckham. So I had to make that decision right then on Thursday if I was going to play Odell or Cooper Kupp, which is obviously an insane debate, but I had to make the decision right then because I thought Odell was going to be limited, and I screwed up.
Final thought about this game for you. Do you think Michael Crabtree is going to be a 3-touchdown or 1-catch player? Is that going to be the game plan with him?
Yeah, absolutely. He will absolutely be my third receiver on the list every week, and I will hopefully get either 1 point out of him like this week, or I will get 25 points out of him. I expect nothing more or less than that. I'll have good weeks with him and bad weeks. That's going to be the way it is.
DK leaves Stephon Diggs on the bench scoring 33 points. Props to him, I guess. He has a quarterback that does jack squat. Travis Kelce does nothing, and he still gets the victory. So
good for him.
There was no excuse, although you tried to provide many. No excuse for your performance, but we'll leave it to next week. Maybe you won't be as busy then.
I hope not.
Next game, we got to kill Mecklenburg. Once I called it, I've officially changed their name to Mecklenburg after last week's podcast. Nate Hammer versus Forgetting Brandon Marshall, John Radersdorf.
Oh, Johnny.
Quinton, give me some thoughts on this game.
there's nothing that I can't say about John's team and how bad it is. Now, that's coming from a guy who played an inactive player. But a real big thing coming out of last week is Carlos Santos is now on IR. And so that's really going to be a big hit on John's team.
That's John's star player.
Star player. And what is he going to do? I mean, is he going to get rid of Cam Newton? He didn't make any moves. You got to put Dak Prescott in at this point. But it just seems like John and I are at the bottom of the league, and we're just going to high five down there while we play our little video games in our mom's basement. So.
And Nate had some good bench players. He had Drew Brees and Chris Hogan putting up solid days.
Yeah.
So I think his team will start coming around a little bit, but can we just say suck it, John? Suck it, John.
Suck it, John.
His team is trash. I mean, it is trash. It is a garbage football team. Go make a move for getting Brandon Marshall. Go make a move somewhere because this team it's horrible.
John, come talk to me. We can trade.
We'll move on to our next matchup, and that is the big Gronkowski, Ethan Staniford, against Cousins or Eli's Forte, Adam Craybon, and we talked about this
We
last
did.
week. We knew something big was coming from Adam.
Absolutely. I wanted to say that right away. We called this. Adam, you are welcome. From the Mind Your P's and Q's podcast, you are absolutely welcome because we called this for sure.
When we said something big was coming, I didn't know we meant 170 points big. Adam wins this 170 to 119. And again, Ian Staniford is just taking the boot of his fantasy league in the butt for another week. He puts up 120, which beats the majority of the teams in the league, but it's just shits down to by 170 from Adam. I
mean, there's only one guy that would have beat him, two guys that would have beat him, and both of them were playing each other, and that was your game. So, man, I feel bad slightly for Ethan, but Adam, hell of a game, 170, hell of a game with 3 bench players still. Can we talk about that? Is he gaining 1 per week?
Okay, I will again refer back to Hawks talk on this. Take Eddie Lacy off your team. He's not getting into the game.
He's not hurt.
On the sideline. He's eating donuts.
He has 0 points.
He's making Twizzler mustaches on his face. He's smoking pretzel rods like cigars on the sideline. He's not playing. He's eating.
Eddie Lacy is not hurt. He is fully healthy, and he has 0 points. You gotta get him out.
Yeah.
Gotta.
Well, what happens when he drops that player? He's just gonna have 2 bench players. We know something big's coming. Are we looking at like a 340-point week next week? What's going on this bench?
I'm terrified.
Tell us what's going on.
I'm terrified. I don't know who. I know I'm not playing him next week, and I don't want to play him at all this year. So.
It's either 60 or 170. No, just kind of a little bit of margin of error there.
Yeah, he's the Michael Crabtree of this league.
Let's move on to the final matchup of the week, which was from the window to the Raw. Some kind of bullshit reason why you're allowed to take that name. Brian against Matt's Young Hoes Ain't Loyal. Quinton, give us a little bit of breakdown here.
Well, let's take a look. What is Matt? Matt's 3-0, so he's playing well. He made a pickup of. It doesn't show it on here. He made a pickup of Jay Cutler after this week, which you'd have to think he's going to replace him with Jameis Winston because he's just not confident with him. I like that move, but this matchup was gross. I mean, Jay Ajayi and C.J. Anderson, I said it last week. I mean, there's no way he's putting up 25 points every week. There's no way. I mean, obviously, and I think he's more of a 5 to 10 point player like he showed here. Jay Ajayi, I think, is way better than what he showed this week. Keenan Allen shouldn't be a starting receiver, but the matchup's good. Still moving with Young Ho Koo, so.
God bless you every single time.
Every time.
I just still don't understand a couple things. One is that this is the first time Matt's ever started off 3-0, and I don't know it's just a weird feeling because Matt is always just getting kicked around in our league usually, and now that he's kind of got this confident air about him, he's made some trades, he's made some good free agency pickups, and he's starting off 3-0. It's just kind of like there's a new wind blowing around, and it's not a good smelling wind. It's where the commissioner is getting off to a hot start, and I'm not a fan of that at all.
Well, here's the thing: if Matt wins, it's a conspiracy. No matter what, it doesn't matter. If Matt wins, the commissioner, it's a conspiracy. So, Matt, I know you're listening.
Agree to that. I'll make a pact with you on that.
Yep.
I agree.
Yep. Blood pact over here that we are completely against the commissioner winning. So.
Oh, sorry guys, we're not doing snake draft anymore. I'm the number one. Let's do it by rounds. I have all the picks in the first round, and somebody has all the picks. Okay, cheater.
Okay, that'll be so much fun. Yay.
But good one by Matt. Brian, based on your comments last week about taking a Rawls name, I think there's a reason why your team was cursed into 78 points, but that's neither here nor there. We will move on after all those fantasy recaps, and we will move on to the next segment of the show where Quinton will lead us into week 4 of the NFL matchup.
We are in week 4, just like Patrick said, of the weekly pick'em with Matt, Patrick, myself, Dylan, and DK. So we're going to go right through all the games here. Let's move right into it.
Actually, before we do that, can you give us a little
oh, yes, yeah.
on what the rankings are at right now?
Absolutely. So, crazy enough, after, what's it been, 2 weeks now? Because we started in week 2, week 3, and then now we have week 4 that's coming up. So after 2 weeks, Matt is sitting at 19 wins, or 19 right, and 29 wrong. I'm sorry. Let me go back here. 19 right and 13 wrong. Patrick and myself are also at 19 right and 13 wrong. Then you got Dylan, unfortunately, with 21 right and 11 wrong. And then DK at 18 right and 14 wrong, just where he should be. So Dylan is up pretty high because he beat us pretty good last week. He had a couple. He picked the Redskins game. That's what helped him to a victory.
Which we vehemently terrorized him about.
Absolutely. We went
game.
after him. So he had 10 correct last week, so that helped him move on a little bit higher. So let's move on into this week, and first game, Bears at Packers. Patrick, I'm gonna jump this over to you. Who do you think picked the Bears?
Okay, so we're all with the Packers except one of us is with the Bears.
Correct.
I don't think it's you.
Okay.
Is it you?
No, I'm leaving this up to you. I want you to actually guess it here.
God, okay. Let's not have fun with it then. Well, I know it's not me based on my pick.
Yep.
The process of elimination carries a 2. I'm going to say DK DeLong.
That is a DK DeLong pick right there.
If it smells like a DK DeLong pick,
it's a DK DeLong pick. Yeah. I'll let everyone know. Patrick has no idea who anybody picked, obviously, except for himself. So this will be a good segment here. DK picking the Bears. They did just beat the Steelers, and I know that's what he's going after because they beat up on, air quotes, his Steelers. So I guess.
Can we make a quick stat? I don't know if we're going to keep track of this, but I am now 2 for 2 as far as smelling DK DeLong picks.
We do.
DK DeLong picks.
There's paper all over this hotel room that I'm in right now. I'm making notes. Yes.
That doesn't really surprise me that he picked them. It was a nice win for them. They almost they tried to be like, no, we are the Bears from week 1. We swear we can compete.
It was an ugly looking game.
Yeah, I only watched a little bit of that one, but the Steelers were obviously having a little bit of trouble, and there was just utter confusion with Jordan Howard running. It's like he was sort of running at half speed in overtime. Like, am I really going to be able to just score here?
Yes.
I'll run it in.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We win.
I've seen that highlight like 100 times, and with the Tariq Cohen run right before it, he was kind of doing the same thing. He was just running like, we're doing this? This is happening? It seemed to just keep happening that way, and they were just running all over him. So I don't know. Maybe you know what? Maybe the Bears are who we thought they were, and they'll beat up on the Packers. But I just don't see that.
As much as I would love to jump back in the Bears camp, I watch the Packers now because I have Martellus Bennett, I'm Montgomery, and them. I think they got their wake up call last week with. They got beat by the Falcons the week before, and then they almost gave the game away to the Bengals last week, and then they came back and they're like, no, we can score on anyone at any time. So I think that's what they're going to be able to do against the Bears.
I think so. And going into Lambeau and the Bears beating them, I don't see how it's going to happen. But we'll go to the next game. Saints at Dolphins. This is a little bit of a in between. We got Matt with the Dolphins, Patrick, myself, and Dylan with the Saints, and then DK with the Dolphins as well. So both of these teams have kind of shown both sides of them. They've been pretty bad and pretty good.
They've been fairly bipolar teams.
Yeah.
I do want to. It was a great pick by me, and I think a couple others that picked the Saints over the Panthers. Who the Saints were not favored in that game.
Not even.
This we've seen the Dolphins have a very nice starting game to the season, and then also just I have no idea what happened to them last week.
No idea. So, I agree. I think that I just think that the Dolphins have a lot of weapons on that offense, and it's all about if Jay Cutler shows up as Jay Cutler or if he shows up as a real quarterback. And I didn't watch the game last week, but I have to assume that Jay Cutler showed up like Jay Cutler.
Yeah, they didn't really do much, and the Saints were the exact opposite. I mean, every time I was watching a different game, the highlight would pop in of Drew Brees just flinging the ball downfield to Ted Ginn or Kobe Fleener to somebody else. So
the classic.
It's not going to be the same for the Saints. That's why part of the reason I picked them last week, just being in their home dome and all that. But just being in Miami, I don't know. I just had a feeling about the Saints, and this was just a gut pick because these are two teams that have shown they are not consistent yet.
I agree. I don't think either one of these. I honestly, it was a toss-up between Saints and Dolphins, and I went with Saints just because I like what Drew Brees can do, and I think he can put up some serious points. So let's move on to the Bills at Falcons. Now, I believe, was it last week? No, that was the Lions. Never mind. Bills and Falcons this week. You have Matt, Patrick, Dylan, and DK with the Falcons.
Wait. Well, hold the phone.
Yep.
What? I'm using my process of elimination here.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Am I hearing what I think I'm hearing?
I think you did. I absolutely went with the Bills. I am in their corner.
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia. And actually, more of it is the Falcons have to lose a game. There's no way they go 4-0 with the games that they have almost lost. There is no way. Their luck has run out. There's no way. The Falcons almost lost week 1 against the Bears, who we've now seen really isn't a great team. They beat the Steelers last week, but the Steelers just looked like they were lost at sea. Then last week, the Lions almost beat them, which, by the way, almost called that upset. Saw the Golden Tate almost touchdown and was pretty upset because I was almost calling that upset.
Yeah,
but
you would have had a game on the field there.
Yep, absolutely. And I think that the Bills looked really, really good last week. I mean, Tyrod Taylor, they had a lot of touchdowns in the very first part of the game, but they held who'd they play last week? Who'd the Bills play last week? Who'd they play last week?
I'm spacing on it too. I can't remember.
Played the Broncos. That's right. They held the Broncos to 75 total rushing yards last week. So the defense.
Yeah, but think about it. The Broncos quarterback is Trevor freaking Simeon.
Yes.
And the box against him, the guy can't throw the ball.
And he threw 2 interceptions, but they were all in the last 19 minutes of the game. So that was when he had to throw the ball to try to catch up. I just think that the Falcons are going to have to lose. They have to lose. And the Bills are kind of riding a little bit of a high right now. So they're going to keep riding it.
There's a lot of people that will probably agree with me here. And I think you're picking this game out of spite against the Falcons because you know your Lions should have beat them last week.
That is not 100% true. The Falcons are working their way through the NFC North.
There's a shred of truth there. There's a shred of truth there, isn't there?
The Falcons just decimated the NFC North in the first 3 games. They went Bears, Packers, Lions, and Vikings. I'd be scared if I were them. I don't think they're playing them for a couple weeks, but I'd be scared if I were them.
All right. Well, you decided to take your crazy potion this morning when you picked your game here, but I guess you got Bills over the Falcons.
Bills over the Falcons. You heard it here first, folks. Bengals at Browns.
Oh,
The
God.
Battle of Ohio.
Battle of Orange.
Goodness. This was pretty split. Matt and I both went with the Browns. Patrick, Dylan, and DK went with the Bengals. I could see this both ways. I watched the Browns in person, and they are horrible. I mean, they are so bad. Their wide receivers can't catch a ball. They literally cannot catch a ball.
And they are paying Kenny Britt so much money to come
Way too much money. I mean, he is the laziest wide receiver I've ever. You can't really see it on TV because, obviously the receivers are not on TV all the time. And watching him on off plays is truly unbelievable. It's like going to the POW club and just kind of watching 6th graders play some football, and the wide receiver over there is like, he's kind of tired. He'll take some plays off. It'll happen. You're a professional athlete being paid millions of dollars. Stop walking. And he was just doing it a lot.
Get him, Quinton.
Oh, Kenny Britt, I know you're a frequent listener. You got to pick it up if you're going to play. I mean, I know it's the Browns, and I know it's very degrading, but, man, you got a rookie quarterback behind you that wants to do something, and you're just dropping the ball like Mr. Butterhands. Come on.
And long-time listener, first-time caller, Marvin Lewis, he heard us scream at him last week at the podcast, and they tried to turn it on against those Packers, and it just, again, was not enough.
Not enough. They looked really good in the very first part of the game, but they pulled a Colts. They pulled a Chuck Pagano. They started playing conservative towards the second half of the game, and the Packers ended up coming back. Aaron Rodgers threw all over them in the second half and beat them.
AJ Green came out of the game just with a vengeance at the beginning. He was just running like a madman. So I'm thinking he's going to do the same thing against the Browns next week. So that's why I picked the Bengals.
Here's a stat for you. The Bengals offense didn't score a touchdown in the last 42 minutes of the game. They did have a field goal, and they had an interception return. But the actual offense did not score a touchdown in the last 42 minutes of the game. That's
making me feel better about my pick.
That is really bad.
Why did you not fax me this information before I made my pick?
You have to do your research, and that's where I come in. I picked the Browns. Okay. Now, next game, Rams at Cowboys. Once again, pretty split. Matt went with the Rams. Patrick, Cowboys. Myself, I went with the Rams. Dylan went with the Cowboys, and DK went with the Rams. So we're
what?
Yeah.
3 out of 5 went with the Rams over the Cowboys.
3 out of the 5 went with the Rams over the Cowboys, and I'll defend them a little bit here because
I'm really interested to hear.
I watched most of that game, the Cowboys-Cardinals game, and if the Cardinals would have kicked a field goal when they should have, they would have been much closer to winning that game. The Cowboys did not play they did not play well throughout that game. They were piecing it together. Cardinals played even worse. So I think that the Cowboys are actually playing down to their opponents. I think they're that team. And the Rams might have something. I think it's a toss-up, but I think I could see the Rams winning this game pretty handedly.
I guess I can listen to your argument and say, okay, but I would still have expected maybe one person or 2 people max to pick the Rams and not have 3 out of the 5 guys go with the Rams. I'm not too confident on the Cowboys, and I dislike the Rams. Jared Goff and that offense has been good and bad, but I still think you got to realize the Rams put up all those points against the 49ers.
True.
And the 49ers are a team that is going to be in disarray for a little while, so I would not be surprised if the Cowboys win by 14 or more, and you 3 of you are just I'm not sure why we did that. I
think the Cowboys are going to play down to the Rams, and the Rams might take advantage of that. That's my hot take.
Lukewarm.
Yeah, at best. I'll agree with that. Lions at Vikings next game. Matt and I both went with the Lions, and the other 3 went with the Vikings. I think this could be a toss-up as well.
Keenum decided to come out and be freaking Dan Marino last week.
Who knows? Who knows what that Vikings offense is going to do? Because the last 2 weeks you have Case Keenum playing. The first week he looks awful, and the next week he like you just said, he looks like Dan Marino. What is going on? No one knows. So I'm going with my safety pick of the Lions because apparently I'm in the Bills and Lions corner. We're hanging out in our corner by ourselves.
This one, trying to pick this game, I was trying to figure out, like, one, how reliable is Case Keenum in that offense? I know they have a great defense, but two, like, are the Lions going to come out with just complete fiery passion because of how pissed they were about last week and play their hearts out? Or are they going to be pissed and whiny about it and just be like, oh, we can't catch a break, and Jim Caldwell looks like, like a Jim Caldwell face if you just pictured his face.
Yeah.
And the noise, like, it's just like that Debbie Downer noise that goes to like, wah, wah. That's what I think of when I see the Jim Caldwell face.
There's only one face, and that is it. That sound effect is perfect for it.
So, I don't know. I want Vikings just, like, maybe Case Keenum can just keep throwing his eyes and lofting the ball downfield to Adam Thielen.
Stephon Diggs could have a big game again. Who knows?
Yeah, on DK's bench. But I think that'll be a really good game to watch.
I think so too. You got next Panthers at Patriots. Across the board, we went Patriots because the Panther, and I feel like I could speak for everyone on this. That Panthers team and Cam Newton, they're finally. You called it last week, I believe. You said Cam Newton is a head case, and that was made obvious last week.
Yeah, I believe the quote from Quinton was he's going to play schoolyard ball on them. Well,
yeah, I was.
Cam was in the remedial school and came over to the other school and was like, "Yeah, you're going to play." Wow, yeah. We're doing that kind of joke on this show.
We're gonna
take it back.
We're gonna cut that out. We're gonna absolutely have to edit that out. That is wow. Yeah, Cam Newton didn't look. Seriously.
Last week, when we were moving on from the Texans and Patriots, and you go, yeah, obviously we all picked the Patriots because we're not stupid. I was watching that game like, we're all stupid. The Texans are going to win the game. What's going on?
So I'll say a story about this. When I was at the Colts game, the score for the Texans-Patriots game popped up, and it was like late in the fourth or somewhere in the fourth where the Texans were still up, and the entire place went crazy. I'm talking like just a couple decibels lower than a Colts touchdown crazy. And that is a AFC South rival that everyone's cheering for.
How idiotic is that?
I know, it was crazy to me, but it's literally, that's how much Indianapolis hates the Patriots. That shows you right there how much they hate the Patriots. I thought that it blew my mind, and I started literally laughing out loud because of how crazy they are. How much they hate the Patriots. It's insane.
One little message before we move on from this game. The Mind Your P's and Q's NFL podcast is not an advocacy against any type of bullying except for against DK and Dylan.
Yes,
besides that, no, the Cam Newton mental retardation jokes, those were all in jest, and that's just really locker room talk, and we were, if you grab yourself by the pussy, you can forget it all happened. So please don't remember that I said that. Then we'll move on to the next game.
Move on. We got our next game at Jaguars at Jets. Now, you have one person who picked the Jets.
Oh, no. No, he didn't.
He did.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He is riding.
The sniffer's going off right now, and we all know what that means.
Yep. He is riding high on bad teams who won last week. He picked the Bears over the Packers, and now he's going to pick the Jets over the Jaguars.
In his defense, though, the Jaguars are as spotty as any team. I mean, they're...
I agree. But we were recently, very recently, talking about how the Jets were the worst team in the league by far. They win one game, and all of a sudden we're picking them? Against the Dolphins, against Jay Cutler, they win a game.
If you think about it, that is DK though. Like, he is the waiver wire master because he's like, oh, look at Harry Douglas had a 20-point game in 2015. He's like, I'm picking him up. He's gonna be my number one wide receiver. And I think he does that with his picks now. He's like, you see the Jets last week? They're the best team in the NFL.
Yep.
I mean, I got to pick them.
I got to pick them.
No problem. You guys are idiots.
Yep. The Jaguars throttled the Ravens, so now he thinks that that's obviously a fluke, and the Jets are now riding high on their one win this year and are going to go in. They are playing at home. I guess we'll give them that.
I just hope the Jets don't win and we have to get on here next week and go, yeah. We just skip over the Jets game next week.
Absolutely.
Just not gonna address it.
The Jets will not be playing next week if they win. Just letting everyone know. Next game, Steelers at Ravens. You got Patrick, Dylan, and DK with the Steelers, and Matt and I with the Ravens. Matt and I have been on the same team here multiple times. Scares me a bit.
That is a lot of confidence in a Ravens team that just, as you said, got throttled.
I agree.
Jaguars and Blake Bortles last week.
And then the Steelers just got beat up by the Bears. I mean, they went to OT.
In overtime, they didn't lose 44-7.
Agreed. They were over in London. They don't even know how to play over there. They don't know what's going on. I'm going with the Ravens because I think that was a fluke game. Absolute fluke game. So they had jet lag. I'm throwing it to that. Jet lag.
Now we're making up excuses. Okay.
Yep. That was a pick I was actually trying to make to, if I win it, I'll jump up ahead of a couple people, but fuck, Matt picks the Ravens with me, so okay.
So what do we got next?
Got Titans at Texans. Dylan, only one to pick the Texans.
And like Dylan picked he went on by himself, I think, on a couple good ones last week. I think that's a good pick. I mean, the Texans show that there can be a good team. I mean,
Yeah.
Sean Watson is showing that he's going to be a solid rookie.
Yeah.
Granted, I picked the Titans because they beat my Seahawks and they just look like a solid ball club this year. But I don't think, I don't understand how three people pick against the Cowboys, but then everybody picks I don't know. It's confusing.
Well, yeah, I will give a lot of respect to Deshaun Watson going into Foxborough and almost beating the Patriots. Like, that is really impressive for a rookie quarterback to go up against Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and almost beat him. That's really impressive. But I said this last week. I think the Titans offense looks really good. I picked the Titans over the Seahawks last week. I don't want to bring it up again, but I did.
Low blow.
Yeah, low blow. But that offense has some weapons. Marcus Mariota looks good, and I just think they're a solid football team right now that will. I don't see them losing to the Texans, especially an in conference or in division game. I don't think they're going to win, or I don't think they're going to lose it.
I will say this: watching the Titans last week, we really held them to like nothing in the entire first half. They could not even move the ball. They scored 3 huge plays in the third quarter that were just fluke plays for our defense. We never let up those big kind of plays. So I'm not sure if that's indicative of how good their offense is or if just they had a couple really good plays. So to be honest with you, we held them without really being able to do much against us for a long time. So I think that's a good pick by you guys with the Texans. If you're going to go on a limb, I think that's a good one to do it on.
Yep, absolutely. Next game, 49ers at Cardinals. You have Patrick and DK, both picking the 49ers.
Oh, no, it's just me and him.
Just me, you and him, out there on that island. You and the 49ers. On Alcatraz Island, watching the game.
Well, it's either Brian Hoyer or geriatric Palmer, one of the two.
I have no argument for either one of these teams.
The argument I could make is that the 49ers put up a lot of points last week, but that's all I got.
The Cardinals have Bruce Arians, which I think he's a great master. That's all I got. That's it.
Okay.
Let's move on. Eagles at Chargers. You have Patrick and Dylan with the Eagles, and then Matt, myself, and DK with the Chargers.
I'm very excited about that because I think the Chargers have kind of showed that. I mean, Phillip Rivers had 3 picks last week.
Yeah.
And the Eagles' offense is, like we said, boring, but They lost Darren Sproles, which I think will be big for them.
I think so.
They did pick up LeGarrette Blount, which I forgot to mention in the fantasy update. Great pickup by me, getting LeGarrette Blount off free agency before the game started, as Darren Sproles goes out for the season, and now I have LeGarrette Blount. Listening for trade offers for anybody that needs a running back.
I need anybody, by the way. I was honestly looking at that on Monday afternoon, I think Tuesday morning, somewhere around there, to see if I could go pick up LeGarrette Blount, and I was like, he has already been picked up. That is mind-boggling.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Real good pickup. But I think this is going to be an actual really good game this week, because I think both teams are right about the same level. I could make an argument for both teams on this game too. I'm not leaning hard towards the Chargers. I picked them because I think that Phillip Rivers is not going to let himself have a .4 fantasy game. I know he's thinking about that a lot. So I know it's really.
My fantasy numbers up. Those are weak numbers.
I know that's really keeping him up at night, but I don't think that's going to happen again. I think he could have a better game this week.
I'll say I'm pretty excited that three of you picked the Chargers, because I think I might be able to snag a little bit of a jump against you guys on this one.
Could be. Here's a surprise pick. Giants at Buccaneers. We have, across the board, Buccaneers. Matt even picked the Buccaneers over the Giants.
Yeah, and he's picked against the Giants twice now.
Twice.
I was very upset about this last week, because I went alone with the Giants against the Eagles, and they almost pulled it out.
They were so close.
They were so damn close, and it was tied. I was thinking, okay, it's going into overtime, and Quinton Manning decides to throw a pick, and then the kicker, the rookie kicker for Philadelphia, kicks a 61-yarder to win.
Absolute mad respect to that man. I watched his parents cry in the stadium. That's not.
I was crying.
I was
crying because I wanted that game so bad.
We need to make a movie about that now, because it was thrilling. It was emotionally thrilling to watch that game, the end of that game. Oh my goodness. Good for them.
Yeah,
but
salty about that one.
But the Giants are heavy underdogs in our weekly pick'em this week, so that could be a game to look at there.
Yeah, this will be the one where the Giants just
they show up.
2 touchdowns, and they're like, yeah, we're not out of it yet. And I'm like, damn it. I was just 1 week too early.
Yep. Raiders at Broncos. Next game. You have Patrick and myself both picking the Raiders, and Broncos being picked by Matt, Dylan, and DK.
This will be an interesting conversation as to why we agree.
Yep. This will be thrilling.
I picked the Raiders just because I think they're better than what they showed last week. I think they all kind of got a little bit discombobulated with Marshawn Lynch's dancing during week 2, and they got a little confused, and it just carried over into their game last week. And I think this week they're going to come in focused and take it to the Broncos. I think the Broncos are a great defensive team, but I think when you have Trevor Siemian as your quarterback, it's like Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get.
Yeah.
He is just a wild card every single week. So I just kind of went with more over the old reliable pick with the Raiders, and I think you tell me why you picked them.
Well, I'll say this first. I was heavy on the Raiders last week against the Redskins, saying that the Redskins were just going to get throttled by them. Obviously, I was very wrong. The Redskins showed up to play. The Raiders stayed in the locker room. No pun intended. But there's no way that the Raiders are going to play like they did last week, right? I mean, that's not who they are. They have too many good players. That's not who they are. And I think that the Broncos are a team that can be beat because of that offense. Trevor Siemian is just not going to lead them anywhere. So that's my pick right there.
Well, we're in agreement, and I hope we can nab a win against the other guys on there.
Yeah. Now, let's just jump to the opposite side of the fence, where we both obviously don't agree whatsoever. Colts at Seahawks.
Oh,
Big game.
Gosh.
Big game this week. Big game.
Game of the week. I will be at the game.
Absolutely. Sunday night.
On the 50-yard line.
Sunday night. We have Matt and Patrick and Dylan with the Seahawks. Then Quinton and DK with the Colts.
Answer me this. Do you really in your heart believe that the Colts can beat the Seahawks, or is this just an emotional, this is my team pick?
I legitimately think that they can beat the Seahawks. The Seahawks have not looked good this year so far. Offensively,
You haven't looked good this year.
I agree. I'm talking about the Seahawks. Don't jump on me.
I mean, in general, okay.
The
You
Seahawks
look awful.
okay. The personal attacks, let's set those off to the side.
Don't touch my
Okay?
quarterback.
Don't touch my quarterback. The Seahawks have not looked good on offense. We are getting Vontae Davis back this week. We're getting Ryan Kelly on our center back this week. Andrew Luck is thinking about practicing now.
That
So
has no effect on this game.
I really do. I think the Colts have a legitimate chance. Now the problem that's going to happen is Jacoby Brissett trying to run an offense in the loudest stadium in the world, and I don't know if that's a true fact. That's probably not, but up there,
It is.
one of them, because you got Arrowhead too. Shout out Dylan.
Yeah.
Screw the Chiefs. If Jacoby Brissett starts freaking out, it's third down and 8, and he can't hear himself think, he's going to throw a pick, and that's where it's going to be the problem.
Oh, I promise you, I'm going to make sure he can't hear himself think. I will be screaming at the top of my lungs every single defensive down. Know that.
I'm going to be watching that game and hearing Patrick just yell, brisket, constantly.
I mean, I just think you're already lining up the reasons why they can't win. Our offense looked very good in the second half against the Titans. We put up a ton of points. Russell Wilson passed for a career high in numbers, and he had 4 touchdowns. Okay, I think our offense is going to start coming together a little bit more, and the defense is not going to let up the big play. I don't think your offense, besides T.Y. Hilton, has enough to do anything against our defense. And if you look at our track record in the history about nationally televised games at home,
Yeah.
you're talking Sunday Night Football, Thursday night, Monday Night Football at home, we historically have just really taken care of business. So I don't know. The Colts could put up some points, but
I've got a real fact on that. You guys have lost 1 game since 2012 in primetime games. That's an actual fact.
Yeah, that's 5 years of solid primetime winning. So I don't think that this Colts, even if I did, I would not pick them. I don't think this Colts team can come in to CenturyLink and get the W against us. We are 1-2. We are way better football team than that, and we're going to come out of this 2-2. And I'm not flying all the way there for us not to get the win.
Okay, that's the only thing that I'll be happy about after this game is that you'll get to fly home happy for
And
your
you're with
team,
DK on this
whatever.
pick?
DK is the only other one that picked the Colts. Yep.
Yeah, so you get to live with that.
Well, okay. True. Redskins, it's not his team. Steelers are his team. So he's just picking them because he's dumb. I'm picking them because it's my team. Redskins at Chiefs.
Before we even go to that, can we just acknowledge you tried to use a reason why they might win as Andrew Luck might practice this week?
It's all about morale. People.
Yeah.
Okay? Keep that in mind. When you Redskins at Chiefs, you got Chiefs across the board, all 5 of us. I'm Cream the Dream. I'm on your bus. I'm ready to go, man.
He's going to have a 102-yard touchdown run. It's impossible, but he's going to find a way to do it.
He'll do it.
The kid is lightning fast, and he's really helping Ralston Fury this year in fantasy football.
I am on that bus. I think Kirk Cousins had a great game last week, but sorry, buddy. Cream the Dream's coming to town. Actually, you're coming to his house. He's not going to let it.
No. Arrowhead, this is a battle of the Native Americans. How many offensive things can I get into on this podcast?
We have a little bit of time left, so honestly, you could keep going.
I think Kirk Cousins, well, he heard my rant last week about him being way more of a man than Derek Carr, and he made me eat my words. Now, it's a regular season game, Kirk.
Yep.
It's a regular season game. Go ahead and calm down. You like that? I don't know if you do, but you probably did because you won the game. But come talk to me after you win a playoff game. How about that?
True. Seriously, find Patrick McNinch and talk to him after you win. That sums up Week 4 weekly pick'em games. So this is going to be an interesting week. We're not all on the same page with a lot of picks, and I think it's because last week was crazy.
Right.
A lot of weird stuff was happening last week, so it's throwing us off a bit, and I think this is going to be where some people step up, some people catch up, And DK stays at the very bottom.
DK continues to fall further because
Yep.
of taking the jet.
Absolutely. So we're going to move into a new segment, folks. This is all new, brand new, coming straight to you here. It's a rant session. I know that you're all very excited about this. Patrick, I'm going to let you start our rant session. And I'm going to go ahead and let you explain it as well.
So we got a new segment here on the show for our second episode. And this segment is going to be called Suck It, John, also known as Suck It, John. The Suck It, John segment, like Quinton said, is a rant segment where Quinton and I will take a minute each or so and just rant about something in football this week that either we're excited about or pisses us off or whatever. And then to conclude it, we will say Suck It, John, because it's something that we're feeling passionate about. So, Quinton, to start us off, I will talk about our fantasy podcast that we started this week. So we put some time and energy into organizing this podcast, and I appreciate Matt's response. He sent a video response. Dylan left a comment on our podcast saying, a nice job. I couldn't tell. He ate the rest of the words. Change like a subject or a predicate. I don't know. So besides those two responses, I didn't hear anything from anybody. So what I really want to do is, I love the fact that Matt responded. I love the fact that Dylan responded. If people could just comment under our podcast each week and say where they might agree with us on something or disagree or make fun of us for something or whatever they want to do, just make it a little bit interactive, make a video like Matt, and just kind of get the Facebook page involved a little bit so we got a little bit more chatter and people can just talk shit to each other more on the Facebook page. That would be my weekly rant. Suck it, John. Everybody get involved with our podcast a little bit more and enjoy it because it's free. And if you aren't enjoying it, then we're going to start charging you for it. And you're going to have to do it. It's going to be mandatory to be in the league. It's going to be $100 per episode. And you're not going to like that. So get involved. Suck it, John. Over to you, Quinton.
Fantastic. And I agree with everything you said. So my rant this week is going to be about, I don't know how often you guys watch ESPN, and I hope it's never. But if you happen to be in a hotel room and there's nothing else on and you have to watch the fantasy show, I can't. Guys, I'm getting built up inside because of how horrible this show is. Everything about...
Matthew Berry, correct?
Yes, absolutely, Matthew Berry. Honestly, I can't get over the fact of how bad ESPN is nowadays. They are truly, truly horrible. Matthew Berry is the epitome of that for me because his fantasy show is a joke. The T.J. Yates or T.Y. Yates, the younger redheaded stepchild of the quarterback that played for 2 games, for the Texans. You know what? This show is so bad. They are so cheesy, not funny. They try to give you information, but the information is horrible. And when they do give you the information, they give it to you in the matter of a moment, and then they jump to some stupid joke with that bearded guy off to the side, spinning some stupid wheel, and it's all dumb. It's all just dumb. I want to know actual information. Just give me the information that I want for all the fantasy players, and then get off my screen because I'm done with you. Because then I know ESPN's going to jump back and start talking about, I'm not even going to get into it, about staying in the locker room and all that crap. That's a whole different rant.
Hey, did you hear Ray Rice punched a girl?
I haven't. Has ESPN covered that?
Wait. Did you know Tom Brady deflated a football one time?
Done with it. I'm done with it all. ESPN, I'm boycotting you. That's who I'm boycotting, is ESPN. I'm done with it. And Matthew Berry, stop it. Stop it. Suck it, John.
That concludes the first and probably my favorite segment of Suck It, John. And Quinton, I'll let you wrap up the podcast this week.
Guys, like we said, hop on that Facebook, comment, be mean, be nice. Don't be mean. Mostly don't be mean. Just come on, anything, yes. We're having a blast doing this. We really are. We look forward to this every single week. Of the past 2 weeks, we've looked forward to it. And we want to keep going with it, and we want to hear your feedback because we think good conversation can be started from it. So, Patrick, do you have any last words?
No, just reiterating what you're saying. Looking forward to another good week of fantasy and just NFL games in general. I will be at the Seahawks game, so not really going to be able to watch these games next week. So just throwing this out there, if we have a week like that where maybe one of us is at a game or maybe not going to be able to watch games as much, maybe we take somebody from our league and have them as a guest co-host on the show. Just throwing it out there. If somebody would be interested, we could potentially do that.
I would enjoy that.
I'm not saying we're not going to be on here. We're still going to be on here.
Yeah.
We're still going to be on here. We thought of the show and we started it, so don't even try to take us.
You know what? Maybe if someone comes onto the Facebook comments and says, "Hey, I kind of want to be on the show," we may be interested in that. But it all starts with the comments.
Like Matt, get involved. It's going to be a big week. Go Seahawks. Screw the Colts. Big victory coming. So everybody have a good week.
Jacoby Brisket's coming in there and tearing it up. Let's go.
Okay. Goodbye.
See you guys.